KUAM News Headlines is presented by Calvo's Insurance, serving Guam for 80 years. Matson and the Adai Itano program. All new 2018 Kona by Hyundai, available at Cars Plus. IP&E Fueling Excellence, McDonald's of Guam, I'm Loving It, and King's Restaurant, located in Tamuning and Dededo. Always open, always local.
The slashing continues down at the Guam Congress building as lawmakers try to come up with a balanced budget. Plus, trial gets underway for a private school teacher accused of sexually assaulting a student. And a local telecom steps up to help students prepare to return to school. Primetime starts right now. Hoffaday and good evening. Frustration stirring up down at the legislature as senators try to come up with a budget to fund the government for the upcoming fiscal year. The latest proposal picks away thousands of dollars from multiple GovGuam agencies to fund the public school system. Jason Salas has the story.
More than $23.7 million in proposed cuts government-wide. The destination for the money, the Guam Department of Education. Senator Fernando Esteves gives the senators the breakdown.
So there's a 23% reduction starting with the governor's office, and the reason for this, Mr. Chairman, is very simple. I think if we are going to look at additional cuts, and I think there are many of my colleagues in here who believe we need more cuts, I think it needs to start from the top down.
The proposed amendments, lawmakers agree, has an overall positive intent.
To make sure that in fact we give the Department of Education sufficient resources in this budget at the get-go as we consider and deliberate fiscal year 19's budget, that they get at least a certain amount.
Senators approved the amendments to slash nearly $1 million from the executive branch and about $1.1 million from the legislature's budget. That discussion drew out frustration on session floor.
These motions really highlight the fact that we're acting randomly, we're acting uninformed, we're not able to pinpoint exactly where we're cutting.
Point of personal privilege, Mr. Chairman. The Speaker may be acting randomly or uninformed, but I am not.
Mr. Speaker, I didn't say anything about him, so I would appreciate not being interrupted or...
As a point of personal privilege, Mr. Chairman, the Speaker was referencing we as being uninformed and random. I am not uninformed and I am not acting randomly, Mr.
No one's
Chairman.
been able to pinpoint where these cuts are going to come, except saying randomly personnel.
Vice Speaker Therese Terlahi and others throughout the discussion pressed for answers as to where exactly these cuts would be made.
But I don't agree with cutting those that are crucial to the functions of the legislative branch, crucial to the functions of the executive branch or the judicial branch, Mr. Speaker.
The cuts no doubt include personnel, meaning potential furloughs. But the reduction that Esteves proposed for agencies like the Island Judiciary wasn't so popular.
And I understand there's always been a lot of love for the courts, and I respect the great job that they do. But I think it's important to highlight that when things get tough, they're not there backing us up.
The proposed cuts to the courts failed.
If we're going to be doing this and working together, even if we have bad blood between each other, I think we need to show mutual respect for our branches and agencies. And I think it's really highlighted that we have not done that today. So if we are going to pay that much homage to the judiciary, I think we owe it to ourselves and owe it to our staff to do the same. We owe it to the governor, even though he might not be our favorite person, to do the same, as three co-equal branches of government. And so, starting with the first motion, I'd like the motion to reconsider the actions of the body.
That motion also failed. Proposed government cuts that also did not get enough support included the Attorney General's office and BBMR.
Budget talks are ongoing. You can view Senator Esteves' proposed amendments on KUAM.com. With school just around the corner and still no budget in sight, the Guam Department of Education remains on edge of what would happen if they are forced to make cuts of their own. Carmen Terlahi has more.
It's money they need to educate our youth. Guam Education Board Chairman Mark Mendiola clarifying during Tuesday's board meeting their stance on money set aside for education.
The board has taken a position that, we want a dedicated funding source for the Department of Education and that we minimize the impact into the classroom.
Facing cuts across the board, DOE officials beg senators to put education first, still aware of the possibility of worst-case scenarios that might include furloughs.
No action regarding fiscal management. The ad hoc committee on furlough, I just left that on the agenda. We're not taking any action on that, but that is just left on the agenda in the event the drastic steps need to occur.
Overall, Chairman Mendiola says the budget rests in the hands of the legislature, though stakeholders are closely following the discussion.
I think it's very prudent on our part that we keep our ear to the discussion, and anything that pops up regarding the Department of Education, we need to take a firm position. Our kids are not going to listen to any excuses from any adult. They want to just know that the schools are safe and the learning environment is ready to receive them.
Days away from the first day of school, officials hope that regardless of where the budget stands, classes will begin without delay. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Carmen Victoria Terlahi.
With cuts across the board, mayors also weigh in on how taking money from them would impact village spending and even future projects they've planned down the road.
Either way you cut it, village mayors won't receive the same amount of money they got last year.
There's three versions of the bill. There's option 1, option 2, and option 3, and for us, all three options are not workable. I can tell you that all the programs, street maintenance, the island-wide beautification, the GMS, the PESSEP, they're all being reduced.
The proposed 23% budget cut would slash current and future village projects. Mayor's Council of Guam Executive Director Angel Sablan says, quote, either you use the money or you lose it.
Your money for the limited gaming fund, some of you haven't used a penny of it. And the concern by Senator Morrison is that if they see that we're not using it, they're going to give it to either DOE or they're going to give it to Parks and Recreation because we're not using it.
Some mayors like Sinahanya Mayor Robert Hoffman are concerned, saying it's not that they haven't tried to move forward with projects, but the H-2B workers weren't available.
I hope that the legislature understands that for almost 2 years we had difficulty getting contractors. That was the whole reason why we had that issue with the compact impact, is because there were no contractors left. And so yes, there's going to be balances in the accounts.
Just like other GovGuam agencies, the mayors will just have to wait and see when a budget is finally passed. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Carmen Victoria Terlahi.
Guam Hotel and Restaurant Association President Mary Rhodes telling GHRA members just say no to the legislature's proposed hotel occupancy tax increase amendment to the budget bill. Rhodes sounding off on the steps of the legislature today, saying if the increase, which raises the hotel occupancy tax from 11% to 13%, goes through tourism workers, not management, will be the first to feel the burn.
Loss in jobs, reductions in force, also changes in their benefits, in their fringe benefits, and also just differences in the products and services.
The amendment passed 8-7 by senators, seen as a compromise since senators originally wanted the hotel tax up to 15%, mirroring Saipan's hotel tax. Rhodes said with the proposed increase and 5% BPT, hotel rooms will be Guam's highest taxed item, and with Japan rivals on a downward spiral, Guam's reputation as an already expensive destination will take another hit, even though GVB has been touting record tourism numbers lately.
Right now, when we're trying to get out of a slump. So that's all we're saying.
GHRA membership has been advised to contact the legislature to offer ideas and alternatives, including another raise to the BPT, something Rhodes said the GHRA is not entirely opposed to. Coming up on D18 tonight, we have another set of senatorial candidates taking your questions. Democratic candidate Franklin Meno and Republican candidates Michelle Taitano and Jose A. San Agustin will be in studio. So be sure to tune in and log on to our Facebook page so we can ask you your questions on the air. Coming up on Prime Time, trial begins for a former Catholic school teacher accused of inappropriately touching a student. That and more when we return.
There are more ways to experience KUAM News than any other source on Guam. Download the KUAM News app for your Apple or Android device for 24/7 news, sports, videos, weather, streaming with KUAM radio, and important news alerts. And stay connected at home with Guam's first app for Apple TV. All available now from the App Store.
A simple handshake. That's all Jake Calvo needed when he started his company. Today, 80 years later, we like to say thank you to all of you who have taken our hand in trust. Thank you to the dreamers. Thank you to the realists. Thank you to the family-oriented. Thank you to the entrepreneurial. Thank you to those climbing the corporate ladder. And to the ones starting a new life together. Thank you to the traditionalists and the edgy. To the young at heart and the old souls. Thank you to the daring, to the protective, to the practical. Thank you to the hopeful. To all of you from all of us, our deepest, happiest, and infinite thanks.
80 years here for you. 80 years thanks to you. Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust.
You know, one of the things I really like about Louis and Josh as well is that they're really down to earth. They're easy to talk to. They're really big supporters with not only small business, but entrepreneurs, and definitely helping out people with the community. Falls in line with what I believe in terms of my business. So it's a perfect fit to be working and supporting with Lou and Josh. They're always obviously looking for change. My suggestion is if you have an issue or if you have a concern or problem, I guarantee you they have an open door policy. Approach it to them and see what those issues are, and I'm sure they'll give you a response for what your perception is. I would say anybody can quit. Don't be anybody. My name is Ray Chargaroff, and I'm supporting Lou and Josh. I'm in.
I'm Lou Leon Guerrero, and I approve this message.
Summer is here, and at Cars Plus and Mighty, that means big savings during our summer clearance event. Right now, save up to $8,000 on select 2018 Ram 1500 SLT Crew Cab, or save $3,250 on a 2018 Chrysler Pacifica. Voted Family Car of the Year. 1.99 APR financing is available for qualified buyers. Plus, buy today and receive a Cars Plus value card, where you get 21 cents off per gallon at all Shell stations. Don't miss our summer clearance event, going on now at Cars Plus and Mighty. Cars Plus, driven by you.
Win adventure in the ITNE Explore Your World Million Mile Giveaway. Every week from July 16 to November 2nd, we're giving away 60,000 United Mileage Plus miles to ITNE postpaid and prepaid subscribers. Imagine where you could go. Go on a weekend getaway to the Philippines. Enjoy fresh sushi in Japan. Itadakimasu. Sip a latte at a cafe in Paris. Or use your miles for shopping and other rewards. It's your world. Explore it.
There are more ways to experience Guam via KUAM News, giving you what you want, when you want, and how you want it. From smart devices, Alexa, what's in the news?
Here's your flash briefing.
Over the web, on mobile, on streaming platforms, with immersive, interactive formats, and via social media where it's more than just content, it's conversation. More ways to keep you informed and entertained whenever you want it, wherever you are, on whatever device you're using.
It's a teacher's worst nightmare. Peregrine St. Nicholas, however, isn't sleeping. Over a year ago, the Bishop of Gardner Memorial School PE teacher was arrested after his 10-year-old student accused him of groping her breasts on more than one occasion. Now his fate is left to a jury. Parties made their opening statements this afternoon. Here's more. It's her word against his. She, however, has a history of lying. During opening statements on Wednesday, prosecutor Peter Santos forewarned jurors, quote, "I anticipate defense will make this case about the victim. Evidence will show she is truly the victim in this case," end quote. For media reports, the victim will be identified by her initials FB. The prosecutor stated that FB is a troubled child who has received therapy for unrelated reasons. Prosecution further alleged that Peregrine St. Nicholas took advantage of that vulnerability and groped the girl's breast on more than one occasion. But is she telling the truth? Defense argued the victim had motive to lie. Defense attorney Leslie Travis recalled the events of the day leading to FB's accusations against her PE teacher. She reported that FB was in trouble for not exercising. She'd later tell Sir Nicholas that kids at school were picking on her. In what defense called a moment of compassion, Sir Nicholas reportedly put his arm on the girl's shoulder and told her to be strong as he walked with her to the front of the gym. Defense also noted that FB had falsely accused family members of abuse over a dozen times. Quote, "Can you trust she's telling the truth when she's disregarded the truth so many times before?" End quote. Trial will resume on Thursday. The man accused of a double homicide near Hemlani Harmon Apartments wants out of jail, and he could be using DNA Inc. property in Hagåtña to do so. Joseph Segdal appeared in court on Wednesday alongside attorney David Lujan. As reported, Segdal has previously tried to put up property to post bail. Prosecutor Jeremy Kemper argued corporations can't post bond and there is a potential conflict because Lujan owns the DNA building. Lujan argued he's not the majority stakeholder, but his wife, who owns 38% of shares while he only owns 30%. He clarified with KUAM that the property being discussed is not the DNA building, but the adjacent coffee shop. It is valued at $670,000, which meets the $500,000 bail threshold. He also stated he needed his client released in order to adequately prepare for trial set for next month. The court will issue a written decision on the matter. Naomi Omapas was a no-show again. The mother accused of leaving her newborn baby on a stranger's doorstep failed to appear in court on Wednesday to answer to the charges of child abuse, family violence, and possession of a Schedule II controlled substance. The court issued a $10,000 warrant for her arrest. Congresswoman Madeline Bordallo is set to give her congressional address at the Guam Congress building Thursday night. The speaker will call lawmakers into session before she begins her address. It starts at 6:30 in the evening tomorrow in Hagåtña. Making a list of migrants and checking it twice. A team from the U.S. Census Bureau is verifying household addresses for the 2018 survey of Compact of Free Association migrants. Mayors were made aware of COFA validators visiting villages, asking for a detailed list of names to keep the community safe.
You know how it is now, people are calling in saying, hey, there's a strange car going up and down the road, just going back and forth. These are the COFA validators.
The survey is required every 5 years to see how many migrants from the Marshall Islands, FSM, and Palau are living on Guam. The count translates to the allocation of federal funds to help offset the cost of COFA migration. Sports is next, but first, here's your island weather.
Make every day a plus.
Mary and Mark said they'll meet us there at 8 o'clock, okay?
What are you doing, hun?
I gotta be the faster draw tonight. They beat us to the bill last time, and we missed out on the 3% cash back. I got the skills to pay the bills.
This summer, the Bank of Guam Visa credit card gives you 3% cash back on all purchases. It's an offer so good, you'll be competing to pay the bill.
Your check.
The Visa credit card with 3% cash back this June, July, and August. Only at Bank of Guam. Terms and conditions apply. Bank of Guam, the People's Bank, member FDIC.
Win adventure in the ITNE Explorer World Million Mile Giveaway. Every week from July 16 to November 2nd, we're giving away 60,000 United Mileage Plus miles to ITNE postpaid and prepaid subscribers. Imagine where you could go. Go on a weekend getaway to the Philippines. Enjoy fresh sushi in Japan. Itadakimasu. Sip a latte at a cafe in Paris. Or use your miles for shopping and other rewards. It's your world. Explore it.
KUAM Sports is presented by Triple J.
What's up, Guam? Dave Delgado here for KUAM Sports. Thanks for watching. I have some softball news on Bubba Nichols, who's on island, going to be hosting a softball camp and participating in an all-star game. I'll get to that in just a bit, but first off, some youth basketball for you. Check it out. Basketball Confederation will be hosting the BFG Guam 3-on-3 basketball tournament for players 18 and under. The tournament is scheduled for August 8th through the 10th, with showtime for each night at 5:45 p.m. Teams must register online at FIBA3x3.com at a cost of $40 per team. Competition is open to the first 16 teams that register. Pool play format with the top 2 teams from each pool advancing to a single elimination knockout round. Teams must have 2 females and 2 males. Players must also have an active FIBA 3-on-3 account. Accounts can be created online at FIBA3x3.com, the same website used to register your team. Maximum of 4 players per team, and rosters cannot change during the tournament. Winning team will be heading to Bali to participate in the IBF Youth Leadership Cup. The tournament dates are September 7th through the 10th. For more info, email Callie Beneventi at CallieLaurenBeneventi@gmail.com or John Lujan at jlujan1980@yahoo.com. Well-known softball player Bubba Nichols is on island and ready to hit the field with our local softball players. Nichols was selected as the 2016 Gatorade National Player of the Year for Merced High School in California and currently plays center field for the UCLA Bruins. She also stepped onto the diamond sporting the red, white, and blue as a member of Team USA. She made the All-Pac-12 second team her freshman and sophomore year. This season, she was also selected to the NCAA WCWS All-Tournament Team and NFCA All-Pacific Region First Team. In 2017, she set the WBSC Junior World Championship event records in hits, batting average, RBI, and home runs. GSPN will be hosting a softball camp Thursday at Guerrero Field from 1 to 5 p.m. Bubba will also be participating in the APL All-Star Game scheduled for Friday at 7 p.m. at the Guerrero Field. U12 hoops from the Sinahanya Youth Basketball League. The Inarajan Hawks punched in their ticket to the finals after an exciting matchup with the Sinahanya Rockers White. The Hawks would end up winning 23-21. Inarajan big man Josiah Sablon scored 19 of his team's 23 points. Caden Apiak put up a team-high 13 points in the loss for the Sinahanya Rockers White. Meeting the Hawks in the championship game will be the Sinahanya Rockers Green. The Rockers beat out the Barragata Crusaders 34-10. Rockers Green's player Noah Hernandez scored a game-high 10 points, while teammates Tamer and Bubba Henderson and Joseph Cruz chipped in with 9 points each. Crusaders edges Toby Babauta scored 4 points in his team's losing effort. Well, that's going to do it for sports. We're back right after this.
Visitors make memories on our island. They contribute millions of dollars every year to our community. So what does that mean? Tourism keeps our island's culture alive.
And it strengthens our identity as Chamorros.
Tourism creates opportunities for local businesses to thrive.
The dishes I create feature local ingredients.
These ingredients come from local farms and create local jobs for farmers like us.
For every job we see in tourism,
there are hundreds more we don't see.
From teachers
to babysitters
to engineers.
We all work in the tourism industry.
Our visitor industry benefits everyone. It improves our income and gives back to our community.
Meaning more opportunities for a better Guam.
Kids and Works for Guam.
The first encounter I had with Miss Liu was, of course, through the bank. I was going through some issues. I'll never forget these words because she was like, Alicia, you're the reason why my dad went into business, and we are here to help you. She was just very compassionate, you know. She wore her heart on her sleeve. I didn't think, you know, she comes from a big business, you would think, you know. But then she just kind of reminds me of me, like, you do what you love, and she shows that she loves what she does. So if she becomes governor, I know that she would do what she loves, and I'm sure she'll take care of us.
I thought you were calling us.
Because she gave me a chance and so many others a chance, I want to give her a chance too. I know 100% for me and my family, and whoever I can get to follow, we are voting for her because of this reason.
I'm and I approve this message.
For a limited time, receive a free $500 Kmart gift certificate on selected new vehicles from Triple J Auto Group. Get the car, the savings, and the supplies just in time for school. Top of the class deals like 2018 Mazda 3 Sport for as low as $16,995. Or our big boy truck, the Ford F-150, starting at $298 per paycheck. Or the sporty and stylish 2018 Honda HR-V at only $176 per paycheck. Get pre-approved instantly at triplejguam.com.